The Pacific storm I've been watching for a couple of days now that's going to soak California. That rain has already begun. But inland, this cirrus shield is now progressing through Colorado. I'm in southern Colorado. And I was just noticing the chemtrails on the satellite imagery are dense down into Mexico. And they're pretty busy here as well. This plane is coming out and you can kind of see a little rippling that the line that the chemtrail ran parallel to outside of a fall streak shape happening right here. Another different shape right in here, but he went right through one of the centers of it, and then marching off to the east. You can see all of the other trails that have been around. So they started early this morning, well before sunup, and they just continue. So that was a Delta flight, that one we just watched. The Delta flight was interested in another little kind of fall streak shape, kind of weeping out of the cloud there. This was the much larger one. And there's just this canopy of pseudo-cirrus. We've got some lenticulars that are trying to come together over the mountains. And then as we take that line, we bring this line on through. It just kisses the outside of the previous trail before it marches on. It's just all about patterns. Down to the south, it's this. It's just crazy. They're working on something. And then this mountain wave cloud. It's kind of together. Sure, it's not really a mountain wave cloud. There's something else going on there, but either way, that's what it would look like on satellite imagery. The satellite imagery that we civilians have access to. Lots of clouds continuing today overhead. Watching these trails just kind of emerge from the lenticulars here as they're working along the mountain range here. See some texture under the base of the lenticulars, which is a little bit unusual. You should be running, should be much smoother than this, but you can actually see the cross waves as the clouds move over the mountains. There's another resonance or another vibration underneath the bottom of these clouds. You can see that. And then, of course, the ever-persistent trails that are overhead. And they just, they don't stop. They don't stop. And these trails are covering the western states today, all the way from the heavy rains in California. You can see those on top of the clouds. You can see the chemtrails there. And then to where the moisture is beginning to press inland, at least at the higher levels, it's still laced with trails. Laced with trails. Another plane coming out, working the very edge of this little extension that's come through. As he emerges from the cloud deck, looks like his little business jet. A little blue on the tail. Where do these guys come from? Where do they land? I mean, this is a fairly healthy sized population of aircraft. There's got to be some base. It's interesting on my YouTube channel, the comments that get spammed the most often or turned off all have to do with setting up a tracking network to watch these planes. And I figured we could do it through Twitter. And we watch the plane, we watch them move over this mountain. Somebody 100 miles to the west picks up the plane, and then we just hand it off from person to person to person so we can follow these planes, see where they end up, see where they land. I don't see how else we're going to get this done. So this plane, a gap in the trail here, over this little phenomena, the trail just completely disappeared. And then we've got a kink that shows up at the edge of the cloud here. We'll see how this deforms in time. Watching this fresh Southwest flight kiss the outside of this previous trail, which is now showing all kinds of rippling in it, especially right here. It just was on the northern edge of it. In fact, going right through that darker spot. Now I hear him. And see if we have anything coming out of the auxiliary fuel or APU in the back tail cone. It doesn't look like it. And so he's coming up right next to these other two trails. This one here, and this one here that's rolling over. And then he's headed on in. We'll see if this trail mimics these others and goes persistent within about this kind of a space of the mountain wave cloud, the lenticular. It almost looks like he's going to come in at an angle. Where these two, he's going to come right on through. These powders are certainly aerosols dripping it out down below, and he is not leaving the same kind of trail. But he's going to go into the cloud. There's all this other rippling happening, and you can see he's even below the cloud. He is not above the cloud, he's going into or beneath the cloud. And there we are, passing into the cloud there. So, and there's trail. There it went persistent. There it went persistent. So, looks like a Southwest flight until it needs to leave a persistent trail. And then we have the voila chemtrail. Here's this whole wave cloud with all the other different layers in there. I gotta get the time lapse over on this one because this is a lot more interesting than off to the west where I'm shooting now. Trails interested in this rippling that's just showing up here in the lenticular. Recent wave action that's settling in. What a cloud deck. You know, and it's just, none of it should be here. Because when we look across the valley, where there's more moisture, where the winds are just as strong, it's completely clear. Completely clear. And so this is just a huge anomaly. A little sundog over there happening. And then I'm going to come back over here and we have one little cloud trail in the distance. And then we have a little cumulus here that's doing some peaking action. It is correspondent with the war gun of the Chi being excited. And then swing back around and we have all that peaking action happening in here. But it's just too many chemtrails have been interested in this for it to be a natural event. It is managed. There is some resistance that is being thrown up over the mountains here that the water, the atmosphere, the humidity is running into. And it can't get through, it can't cross this bump, this hump, this resistance without condensing out. And they're keen to measure it. Keen. Hello, hello. Look at this segue. What a dude. What it seems to me. It's what it seems to me. Because that kind of corresponds.
The airplane pilots don't know what they're doing, really?
I don't think there's pilots on board these planes.
Really?
No. Why? Huh. There's no need. One less salary. Huh. One less person that can tell. Huh. And I've lost him in the clouds. I was hoping to zoom in on him to see what he was painted up like. Huh. But you know, when you see these ripples here, these little singular stripes, that's not right. Huh. That's not right at all. And so that plane is kind of running that same angle as these. Actually, this is a little bit different. Huh. But no, there's no pilots.
That is wild.
And we're 40, 50 years into this program too.
Oh my gosh.
It's been going on a long, long time. Huh. All right, man.
All right, well, have a great...
Have fun. What a busy sunset. A couple of planes here, one here. One here. I've just investigated this mess here. Go up again at this spot here. This plane has just gone through the middle of this, the debris of this previous trail. And then a gap here that this plane has left. This one is coming along and hitting the end of this trail as it kind of does an uplift. So it's just going to kiss the southern edge of this trail here. Boom. And then down below, another trail where the only segment that remains visible is the one that's in the severe turbulence, in the undulating. Another one coming in. This guy, whatever his target is, it's probably the western edge of this trail here. Probably hit that spot there. Looks like he's inbound for that. So it's busy afternoon, busy evening as we hit sunset. Still have the crazy ass lenticulars out behind me. And if those were natural, then we would see that kind of action over the San Juans to my west. But it has been clear here, completely clear. So it just doesn't make any sense why behind me I have this crazy mountain of lenticulars, and then out west there's nothing.